Nickelodeon celebrates Black History Month.
Blame it on George Grant. Kel, you broke that window, not George Grant. Yeah, but George Grant invented the golf tee back in 1899. You mean this little spike that you can put the ball on so you can whack it real good? Oh, yeah. Small invention, big difference in the game. Look, I'm Tiger Woods. Well, you did hit a birdie.
Welcome back to Kenan Kel with Adam and Aaron. Some call me Adam.
And others call me Aaron.
You have returned from your voyage overseas.
Yes, I'm back from the motherland. I have gone to Kenya and come back a new man. And everybody in Kenya calls me Aaron because they can't pronounce. People don't pronounce Aaron very well. It's like that's not a sound people use. Same thing happened when I visited Camille's family in Brazil. But
it's an American sound.
So this is Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron.
And we are talking about Black History Month.
Yes, Black History Month, a month late.
You're traveling. This is totally fair. And I didn't want to wait another year for these specials.
We are talking about Black History Month, which is typically in February, but now it's March, which is Women's History Month.
I like to embrace that. You remember that one classic Morgan Freeman quote that goes out. Black history is American history. It should be all year round. So back, I believe, between, I'm going to call it February 1998. Right around then, Kenan and Kel, between seasons 2 and 3, did a series of promos that aired on Nickelodeon. A little, like, kind of 30-second clips, about 7 of them, that go over all the, a handful of different...
Yeah, really great graphics, and it's so 90s. But yeah, so we learn about Black History Month on Nickelodeon from Kenan and Kel. I mean, it's a pretty cool thing.
Quality edutainment. There's some good jokes, there's some good facts. I think they did a really good job with it.
Yeah, I have a feeling that there was an idea floating around for a Black History Month episode of Kenan and Kel, but it probably didn't get enough approval. That's kind of my hunch.
Before we go much further, I would like to quick talk about some Kenan and Kel news. So first off is some of our own news. We are running a Kenan and Kel March Madness tournament. All 62 episodes of the series and 2 movies, Two Heads Are Better Than None and Good Burger. I realized that, hey, that's an even 64. We could make a whole giant tournament bracket out of that.
That Adam did. I did not.
Yeah, I had that realization around the time that March Madness was happening. I'm just like, yeah, sure, why not? I'm very busy, but I always have, I'm going to cut out time in my life for some Kenan and Kel. I've been listening to our podcast, Aaron.
Yeah.
While you've been gone, I whenever I'd like do a project around the house, I'm like, oh yeah, let's listen to some season 1. It's a quality show.
It's a good, we do a good job. I have to say, we do a good job. So let's see, today's poll. We're recording it on March. What's the date? 8th.
March 8th. Yeah. But by the time you're listening to this, you will be well into round 2.
Yeah, so
the top 32.
But so today it's The Honeymoon's Over, number 12, versus Bag and Sag and Kel, number 53. Now, did you do IMDb ratings?
I combined the IMDb ratings with our own ratings, and I made a conglomerate ranking. I made a seeded bracket off of that, so that we're not just doing 1 to 64, 2 to 63, or anything like that.
Did you average IMDb plus mine plus yours?
Yes, I did.
Wow. So this is the true list.
This is the true list of our feelings with the official source. I don't want it to be just us.
Well, of course.
We need a tiebreaker.
So the first one, The Honeymoon's Over, number 12, versus Bag and Sag and Kel, number 53. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling Honeymoon's... Oh, my God. Bag and Sag and Kel is in the lead.
It is. Yeah, no, there's been a real season 1 I would call, like, favoritism.
I think there's some trolls on here, Adam. I think we've attracted the trolls.
There are a couple people that will, and I think it's part of the promise that we made, or the promise that I made for us, that the winner will revisit we'll actually do again with maybe a guest, some different component to make it different. Maybe someone out there just really wants us to kind of like suffer through the line of Kenan or something again.
I would be on their 4 different burner accounts. It's all the same votes.
I would truly believe the stats. Trust me, some good episodes are going to rise to the occasion. Yesterday, that Tainting of the Screws just shut out the competition like 9-0. Yeah.
An unstoppable force.
You can join us too on Twitter. For round 2, I'm going to have like, hey, fill out your own bracket, see if you win. Winning bracket gets 700 boxes of Google Puffs.
Or the lifetime supply of Luna Tuna.
Yeah, okay, but on to some real news. Keke Palmer was being interviewed by Jimmy Fallon about Kenan and Kelly, the SNL sketch.
Oh, yeah.
She said that she was really nostalgic for multicam sitcoms that she grew up on. And the idea of Kenan and Kelly specifically came from her like desire to play Kelly. Like she wanted to be some fictitious character in the Kenan and Kel universe. Kenan apparently wrote the sketch with his writing partner, and she didn't say anything about Kel, and was very ecstatic to learn that he was that Kenan was able to like nab him and bring him on.
Kenan's definitely got some pull. He's got some Kel pull, yeah, for sure.
He's got his number.
Hey, Keke Palmer had a child. Congratulations, Keke. She had her baby very recently. When was today?
Oh wait, hang on. I didn't think it was out yet.
I think maybe this is a.
Oh, well, it was 6 hours ago.
Congratulations,
hey,
Keke.
well, you know, that baby knew that a new episode of Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron was coming out. They wanted to be 1 week old for the time.
They wanted to be here.
So that is very fun.
Very fun. Well, congratulations, Keke. Thank you. I hope you do another Kenan and Kelly sketch. There's plenty to be sketched upon.
A true fan at heart, that Keke.
Kel has died, so now we kind of have to do a Better Call Saul, like recording the past and the future kind of deal, but it's possible.
Yeah, that's true.
It's possible. It could make some great TV.
We talked about all kinds of sequel ideas. The drama angle is still really funny. They go from the children's comedy show to just Kel is dead and Kenan has to move on. Speaking of Kel, he was spotted at the Kids' Choice Awards. I don't like doing these little like kind of what we call TMZ paparazzi spots, but he was out there with his family.
This just in. Kel Mitchell spotted at the Kids' Choice Awards. Some might say that he didn't choose this life. The Kids' Choice life chose him.
I bet he wishes they get slime to get in the spotlights again. That Kel Mitchell.
Do they have orange slime yet? We shouldn't be mocking these people, Adam. We're trying to be them for the red carpet at Good Burger 2. I was thinking it probably won't be that hard just to say, hey, can we get a media pass? We'll pay for it.
Yeah, no, it's going to be pretty easy.
Get some orange microphones.
Just do basically Max Fosh bits where we just sneak on like, no, we're supposed to be here.
Sneak over there.
Yeah, that's a real Kenan and Kel bit. If they would embrace that, I think.
We'll have to hire somebody to film us.
Make it look official.
Yeah.
Speaking of red carpet, Cal Smith, who I believe is a musician, was spotted at the SAG Awards. I dropped a link in our chat here if you want to give it a pick.
Oh, no way.
What does his fit look like?
Oh my gosh, he's dressed as Ed. Like a fancy Ed.
He's got basically a baby blue like suit and vest, and his hat and shirt are the Ed colors.
Oh my gosh!
Good Burger.
See, it's finally happening, Adam.
Yeah.
Good Burger is becoming, it's entered back into the mainstream, and people are parodying it. And it's happening. It's happening. Good Burger 2 is on the way. You can almost feel the uprising.
So yeah, I'll be posting those pics onto our Twitter page.
Have they confirmed Good Burger 2 like officially? Like
there's a script.
Yeah, but
I don't think it's on schedule.
Yeah,
but,
there's no schedule yet.
I think they're doing that philosophy of if we say it enough times, it's gonna happen. And if we get like all the fans on board, then the studio will greenlight it. I think is where they're at with it.
So it's all up to us.
Yeah, and I think we're doing our job. I think we're doing a better job than most.
If we're not doing our job, come on, Fantas.
Yeah.
Let's get Good Burger 2. Everybody, tweet hashtag Good Burger 2 now. Good Burger, Better Burger. Oh, that's definitely going to be the name.
Or do you think they're going to do like the Dumb and Dumber thing? It's going to be like Gooder Burger.
Gooder Burger, probably.
A last story here is that Kim Fields, director on various episodes of Kenan and Kel, had a hair story. interview where she talks about her hairstyles throughout her illustrious career. We gotta zoom in on her sometime real soon here, because she has done some incredible work throughout TV and film.
I would love to interview Kim Fields and ask her about my favorite episode, The Crush.
Yeah, she talks about that episode in this interview.
What? No way! Kim Fields had some great episodes. She is an exceptional professional, and very, very cool that she's still talking about Kenan and Kel all these years later.
Yeah, no, the true professional. We'll talk a little bit about her more after our main segment here. So, let's talk about the...
Oh, yeah. I would have loved to just be sitting in, like, as a fly on the wall in the editing room, like, just watching this, monster computer, like, doing this graphic. and just splicing together these Kenan and Kel clips. Like, that would have been, oh my gosh.
It was made with some real care, I think. They wanted to make it catchy, and they wanted to make it informative. I think they did a great job.
Yeah, and, it's in this weird TV era with what'd you call them? Edutainment, kind of just put in the middle of, like, in between shows. So, prime time, I don't even know when they would have put these up, maybe a couple times a week. I don't really know.
I think between various episodes of cartoons and live action shows, these would come up, and I think they recycled them for years on end. Like, I would not be surprised if in February '99 they would show these clips again in the 2000.
You know, it'd be cool if like they did it again,
just today out of nowhere.
I was thinking more like, it's a terrible thing about history. Plenty of black innovators that are not remembered.
I will say something about their polls here is that they're little. At first glance, I was saying, like, these are some. Could they have gotten a little bit more of an illustrious event? But they have to do something that's visually interesting that kids can latch onto, that Kenan and Kel can make jokes on. There's a lot of components here, so I think they chose well, and they chose from a variety list. There's things from arts, science.
Yeah, so let's jump into it. Should we start with the first one of the first 40-second segment?
Our first one is about Mae Jemison.
I love Mae Jemison.
So for each one of these innovators, I did a little homework of my own, made sure. That they're well represented here.
Did you know Mae Jemison beforehand?
I will be honest. I knew her like in just kind of the picture. That picture that they show is like, I know that picture.
Right.
Yeah. She apparently is incredibly I would call it awarded and lauded.
Yeah. She's the first black woman in space, and to do that, you have to be an amazing mathematician,
engineer, physician, and NASA scientist.
Yeah. She's amazing.
Kenan introduces her, and Kel says that, I thought Uhura from Star Trek was the first African American woman in space.
Yeah, says that's science fiction.
She's the real deal. And then he goes on to drop some more facts. She flew in the space shuttle. She did a lot of experiments about how space affects people's bodies differently.
She wasn't in space for all that long. Do you know how long she was in space, Adam?
I do not, Steve.
It was like much shorter than you would think.
She was only up there for 7 days, 22 hours, and 30 minutes.
I was watching a show with Will Smith on Nat Geo or something like that. I showed it to my students last year. And it was like they put up the astronauts and how many days they were in space. And Mae Jemison was only 7. But all these other people, like, the famous astronauts, 500 days in space, 300 days in space. But yeah, I think she was just very busy. Like she had things to do. She's like, I got a family to take care of. I gotta get back to my clients, like my patients. Like I have a feeling that's kind of. But I don't really know.
She had a medical career.
But she did a lot of different things. Oh my gosh, amazing woman.
You have to scroll through her list of honors and awards.
Oh, it's amazing.
And still around today doing work.
Oh yeah. Oh, she's still contributing. So thank you, Kenan and Kel, for educating the world about Mae Jemison. When did she go to space?
1992.
92.
Yeah, so they were well aware of it in this time. She's the most recent of the African American celebrities that we talk about. Each of these segments ends with little bits, a little joke from Kenan and Kel. This is the only one that I think doesn't necessarily land.
Get it? Land?
Land, yeah. Kel wants to go up into space because he'll be the first soda-drinking, rap-singing teenage genius in space. Which, Kenan says, Houston, we have a problem, in response to. Aaron, I wanted to ask, which Kenan and Kel are we seeing here? on stage. Is this Kenan, Rockmore and Kel Kimball? Is it Kenan and Kel themselves?
This is the Kenan and Kel you'd show your parents.
Yeah, this is the Kenan and Kel you take home.
Yeah. This is like the first date Kenan and Kel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not typical crazy Kenan and Kel who are trying to have fun and break the rules.
The thing that I think is worth pointing out is that they're both like smart in this. Like Kel is just as informative as Kenan, and like how he drops information about these historical figures. So yeah, they're in that kind of hybrid in front of the curtain world where it's a little bit of each.
This was written by somebody high up in Nickelodeon. They're like, we need to do something for Black History Month, and this is what happened.
I also like how throughout the clip. By the way, these are all on YouTube. The Splat hosted them a while back, so they should be up. I'll include a link in the show notes for if you want to spend 4 minutes and check them out. But every time they drop a little caption comes up that tells you where it's from.
Yeah,
like it's like the Smithsonian or whatever they're referencing. So
it's like a research edutainment.
Yeah.
Teaching kids how to cite in APA format. No, not really, but...
So who's our next Black innovator?
It's a man by the name... Now, I actually learned something here. It's a man by the name of George Grant, and he invented the golf tee. And I am sure he did not get paid adequately for this.
You would be surprised. So yeah, the sketch is Kel, is taking a shot on a little like putting green. And this is the first glimpse that we have of, like, the surrounding area that they're in. I want to say I love this set with like all my heart. It looks like a 50s era like sci-fi like.
Yeah, it's like a orangey brown paper that's just from floor to ceiling, and then there's just some lights that are shined from above.
It's like this weird museum that only they're in, and it's got like kind of like 50s like sci-fi like arches and
yeah, Kenan's
spotlights
shirt
coming up.
Kenan's shirt is even from the museum. I mean, that is an awesome. I would love wearing that shirt.
Kel has his I think his cornrows in. That is very rare, like between season stuff that we see when it comes to his hairstyle.
And then he takes like Adam said, he takes a shot. He has never picked up a golf club before. He's just being goofy.
I wanted to get your golfing opinion on his form here.
He looks like he's ice skating with the golf club. It's really bad. And then so he has like a pitching wedge, and he puts the ball on the tee, which you don't really do.
Not when like the hole's right there.
Yeah, and the turf, I mean, there's like this little circular turf that they have with a very cute little flag. It's very cute. And yeah, he puts the ball on the tee, hits it with a pitching wedge. No wonder it went all wonky. It's not how you use it. It's very hard to use a tee on turf. But the point is there. I mean, I learned something from this.
I think their dialogue is really well written too. Because Kenan steps into the scene like angry. And Kel like says to him, "Don't blame me, blame George Grant."
Right.
Like that's good exposition.
It's a good exposition, but not Kenan and Kel exposition, but good
no,
exposition.
not at all.
I mean, they're basically in a commercial.
Kel explains that that George Grant invented the golf tee in 1899. It's a small thing that made a big difference in the game.
I mean, it's amazing to think of playing golf without a tee. It doesn't even make sense.
Oh yeah. So I did a little homework, like I said, with all these. George Grant, this might not be his biggest credit either. He was the first African American professor at Harvard.
Okay.
Yeah. His specialty was dentistry, and like on the side, as a little sub note in his life, he had the first patent for the first golf tee. So he did other great things too.
First black professor at Harvard. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But you got to do something fun for the kids, and the golf tee is very fun.
Cal says, "Look up Tiger Woods, swings, and like some feathers fly." Kenan says, "Well, you did hit a birdie."
It's good back and forth, good banter.
Good banter. And then we just get that funky music. We have not mentioned the transition music, and it's real good. It's real catchy.
Very catchy.
It's like 90s television commercial electronic. Who's our next innovator?
Our next innovator is a man by the name of Andrew Beard. And Andrew Beard did something that I know what he did. I'm trying to make it sound interesting. People used to die all the time by trying to connect train cars. They used to get like slaughtered and crushed and break their hands off. And then this guy invented the thing where you just kind of bump the two cars together and then they join up.
So yeah, that's the way that the Kenan Kel describe it. Like as these little like toy trains come together, Kenan shouts because Kel's on his foot, not because of anything but the train. Zooming out on Andrew Beard, the first thing that I guess they didn't get into all this detail. It's called the Janey coupler.
The Janey coupler.
And Beard patented an improvement to the coupler. It was already out there, but he like had a fixed up version for it. He did this because he himself was a victim of like two train cars being hooked up together.
Oh.
I believe he lost a leg.
Oh my God.
In a car coupling accident. So yeah, that inspired him to go on to patent and design a better version of the Janey coupler. And like historically, he has replaced Janey, the character who this was named after. This is a good thing because Janey, the original designer of it, was a major in the Confederacy, not a good figure in history.
Yeah.
So the fact that an African American innovator was able to kind of replace his name in history is an excellent thing.
Yeah, that's justice right there. I wonder how trains work now. Everybody's talking about trains since East Palestine.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if they still use the same system or if there's a better joining or different kinds of joining. I'm sure there is by now.
Yeah, well, it's tough to say. Without an electric component to it, you want something that can automatically connect on its own. But it might be one of those like kind of perfect inventions, like the bike chain, where nothing's ever come by that's like gotten better than this.
I mean, I think they still use it. I mean, it makes sense. You just kind of bump it together and just like, ooh, ching.
Eventually, it was replaced by the Henricott coupler, but it was the first step in this design,
saving lives and legs.
Yeah, there's a page on Wikipedia that says changes since 1873, and there's a couple listed. Our next character is Sam Davis.
And what did Sam Davis do, Adam?
He made as what Kel calls a mutant guitar, but it's actually the double neck guitar is its official name.
Now I'm going to be honest, Adam. I also didn't know what this was.
Oh, really?
I'm learning. I mean, I've seen one, but I didn't really know the purpose. But it makes sense. Right? The bass is on top and the lead is on the bottom.
Yeah, so you can switch between them without changing instruments.
Which has to be difficult.
I will say, I think Sam Davis might be the biggest modern miss from the list of innovators that we meet here.
The modern miss?
He does not have a Wikipedia page, but I've read some articles on him, and he is an incredible figure in history. Listen to this. Sam was a versatile man who was well known across the country as the man who could do anything.
Uh-huh.
He was a cabinet maker, wagon builder, boat maker, and metal worker.
Yeah, he's definitely a handy guy.
Yeah, before he made any of those items, he made the tools to work on them. So, basically from scratch, he's like, I'm gonna build a wagon. All right, first they did wagon building tools.
Well, back in the day, you kind of had to do a little bit of everything. But so he was a blacksmith and a carpenter.
Mm-hmm. His mechanic shop was said to be the most unique and complete in New Orleans because he had tools that no other mechanic possessed.
Wow, that's
or had
amazing.
ever even seen before. Worth noting, he did not patent them, so he did not receive any kind of true credit through history. But he was said to invent the folding stepladder, a disappearing ironing board, an extension measuring rod, a revolving tool rack. Also designed clamps for violin bows and other instrument stuff. So yeah, no, when you hear that, you're like, oh yeah, this mutant guitar makes sense.
I mean, he looked like he just liked to have fun too.
Yeah, he sounds like he had a good time. And speaking of having a good time, that's what Kel does in this scene.
Kenan's like, Kel, put it down. What are you? And then he starts jamming.
Does a real tasty lick using the mutant guitar. It does make me think of that this is some Kel Kimball that we're seeing here. A touch of Kel Kimball.
Yeah, a touch of genius.
Can do any instrument whatsoever. That Kel Kimball.
Yeah, they got that part right. I mean, they at least watched one episode where Kel was a genius, and they're like, "Oh, Kel's just really smart."
Yeah, maybe they watched the IQ episode was the only one that they had, and they're like, "What man? He must know all these guys from history."
That's the Kel smarts bias.
Our next innovator,
Philip Downing. He invented something that I was actually surprised about. You see these things everywhere, These
Oh, yeah.
big blue metal USPS mailboxes.
It's funny because throughout history, it's like you hear like, oh yeah, Ben Franklin, he invented the post office. It was his idea that these letters go all across the country. But this is one of the more important steps that keeps you from going to the post office every day.
Postman, he has a regular stop to make.
Yeah, he invented the four-legged mailbox. The design of this, keeps mail going in, and the outside public can't access it. It's safe from weather, snow, and like all kinds of stuff like that. And then a mailman can come by and pick it all up.
And now, Adam, when's the last time you used one of these?
I'm gonna be honest. I used one about a month ago.
Yeah, I know. About the same here. I've used them often to mail things.
There's far more mailboxes than post offices. That's how handy it is.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's like a mobile post office that you can't move.
There is some other inventions that I want to talk about of him real quick. And a year earlier than the mailbox, his most famous invention, he patented an electric switch for railroads, which allows railroad workers to supply and shut off power to trains at like certain times.
And herein lies the great ethical dilemma. Switching the rails. Cheat, 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 cheat.
Yeah, no, I think the trolley problem kind of comes from his design.
Yeah, he definitely invented the trolley problem. Amazing man.
This design allowed other innovators to create the electric switch that we know nowadays, that's used in homes.
Wow.
So yeah, the kind of this or that, either or, kill one person or let four people die, like that all comes from this man.
Yeah. Now, what about in other countries? Because when I was in Kenya, this light switches are different.
Oh, maybe they, I think it's a branching path.
Probably,
back in
right?
old-timey time homes, they just had like buttons on the wall. They had the on button and the off button.
That has to be dangerous.
Yes, yeah. Before copper wiring, it was just insulation made of like cloth and stuff like that. So yeah, gets on fire easily.
Yeah, now there's all kinds of different light switches.
What innovation did this inspire from Kel in this segment?
Kel tries to put pizza in the mailbox, a slice of pizza that he's eating.
Yeah, Kenan stops him and he realizes like, you're right. I need a stamp first.
You could mail a piece of pizza as long as you have a box. You pay for shipping.
Yeah, I guess so. If you can see. And he lied to the post attendant that asks if there's any food inside.
I don't know if they ask for food. They ask for explosives and stuff.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the food then, right?
I mean, you can ship food, but like nobody would expect you to put a piece of pizza and just send it.
Surprise pizza. That'd be terrible if like the spam mail that you get was like actual food.
There's rotten food.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, I got a banana peel from these guys don't want me to buy a credit card.
I mean, it would be more creative.
Yeah, they would definitely get my attention to open their mail instead of just shredding it.
It'd be actual disgust, not just virtual disgust.
Speaking of virtual disgust, who's our next innovator?
His name is Charles Drew, and what he did was he invented the blood bank.
Yeah, the first blood bank made during World War II. To help the Allies, get blood faster. He saved thousands of lives in that war and has gone on, as they talked about, to save millions since.
So I'm kind of confused by this one. He invented the little fridge.
I think that the whole institution, the fact that so he was a surgeon doctor. He did research into blood transfusions. He developed techniques for blood storage. Yeah. So. Yeah, you can't just put a bag of blood in a fridge and, you're good. The temperature to keep it at, how to best fill the bags and take the blood out, that all came from him.
Imagine how much blood he had to draw to try all this stuff. I mean,
That's a good point.
You could say the guy was was a little bit bloodthirsty, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, he couldn't be a very squeamish individual.
Yeah, he probably had to just be like, hey, so I'm going to need to take some blood, and it might not go anywhere. It's just for scientific purposes.
I will say props to Kenan Kel, too, because they have to not only in 30 seconds talk about this innovator, they also have to describe how a blood bank works. In one sentence.
They have to, make a joke about it, too.
Yeah, it's a tall order. And they do. They say, oh yeah, this is for, when people need blood for operations emergencies so that they have easy access to it.
Yeah.
What's Kel's question about blood banks?
Do they have an ATM?
Which, I'm surprised in 30 years we have not come up with a faster way of getting blood.
I mean, it only lasts for a few days, right? So It would really need some and also who is just gonna get some blood?
I don't know. Is there
You need somebody who knows what to do with it? I feel like they could have made an orange soda joke here with blood. Kel's oh look, that one's mine. It's just orange.
Well, Kel has canonically in our series eaten a person. So I think the idea of him accidentally drinking from a bag of blood instead of orange soda isn't out of the question.
I don't mean drinking from it. I mean just him pointing to it saying, yeah, I gave blood earlier. There it is. And it's just orange soda in a bag.
Oh, that's a really good joke, Aaron. Good job. Yeah,
That would have been a good one. The ATM one's silly. Adam, I don't know if you know this, but I was in National Honor Society when I was in high school, and I was kind of in charge of running the blood drive.
No.
And so I got on we had a TV station in the morning. And so I got on and I made blood puns. I made 6 blood puns.
Nice.
Every week for a month.
I did that TV news station too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I was usually tasked with sports is to what which I didn't know nothing about that. They got the wrong guy for that job.
Yeah, that was fun.
The first time I wanted to give blood in high school, I went to the gymnasium, and the nurse said that my veins were too thick to pull blood from. I don't think that's a thing. I think she was tired and didn't want to do it anymore that day.
That's something else. But yeah, the thick veins, I don't know. But some people definitely should not be giving blood. I mean, some people are not well enough to give blood. And I remember we had the most successful blood drive in school history, and I'm just thinking we just we duped a lot of people, man.
Got a lot of bad blood going out of this at school.
We got a lot of high schoolers to just make an excuse for not doing homework. I actually gave blood. I'm not supposed to do much intellectual activity. Could you imagine just oh, wow, that was a very successful blood drive from that high school.
I would be upset if I received a high schooler's blood.
Just I mean, those were in the days of vape pens too, and they did not screen for that.
Oh no.
They did not screen. There's probably some horrible chemicals in people's blood.
That was also one of Charles Drew's kind of stances in his research. He basically said, look, there's no difference between my blood and your blood. African Americans shouldn't be segregated from contributing blood to the Red Cross.
Sure. Oh, yeah, that must have been a huge point of controversy.
It was. The American Red Cross didn't drop that position until he died. In 1950. It took them way too long to get with the times.
There's blatant racism, and then there's this deep-seated people actually thinking that there's chemical differences. That's the late stage racism. It's
yeah, that deep-seated eugenics almost is real terrible.
Yeah, that's bad. But good guy. Thanks for. I mean, he saved a lot of lives, right? Talk about saving lives.
Yeah, no, he might have the most saved lives count of it. Well, that's not true. I was asking myself throughout this, what is an innovator? And it's someone that invents something good for that makes the world better.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've talked sports, we've talked music, we've talked medicine, technology when it comes to train tracks and stuff like that. And yeah, I think these are all important things that made our world better.
Very real contributors to humanity.
And when I think innovations, I think light bulb moments. And who does that bring us to?
That brings us to our last man. Unfortunately, only one woman made the list, but
yeah, that's too bad.
I think if they did another series now, it would be a lot more comprehensive and in depth. They really were just probably working off of encyclopedia knowledge here.
Yeah, just a couple good polls. There's a healthy list of, and I'm sure everyone's heard all about them throughout this month, of men and women throughout African American history.
Louis Latimer invented the light bulb. Just kidding. He invented the light bulb that people actually use. Thank you so much, Edison.
Just like you said, big difference in kind of science knowledge from 98 to today, which is, I was I thought Edison invented the light bulb. Which is, I think most people know that, no, he did not. He kind of just got a bunch of smart people together and patented it and kind of stole a lot of money from smart folk.
Yeah, like Nikola Tesla, right?
Yeah, Nikola Tesla was like part of his team of was it Menlo Park people that he just like basically like lived in his basement and he like took all their ideas from. Edison was a bad man, but Louis Latimer was not. He made the light bulb affordable.
Yeah, he made it thinner, and he made the filament not expensive. It wasn't like an expensive metal. It was just a little tiny piece of something. What is the filament, Adam?
The conductive piece of metal inside the light bulb, the thing that lights up. He developed a better version of that, the one that can actually be used and mass produced. He had other inventions as well, including the evaporative air cooler, an improved toilet system for railroad cars as well. Another one of those railroad innovators.
Oh.
Yeah, and he worked for another electric company before joining the Edison Electric Light Company. And to end the innovator segment, Cal drops the light bulb, and Kenan's like, good thing it was cheap, because you're buying that one. I'm glad these exist, and I'm always happy to find more Kenan and Kel content from way back then.
Yeah, agreed. It's the very pleasant surprise when we come across something we haven't seen before. I mean, I know I haven't seen those.
Yeah, no, it's very happy. Aaron, would you like to join me for a quick trip to the Fanta Zone?
Yes, Adam, but while we're talking about Fanta, I gotta tell you about the world of orange soda in Kenya.
Do tell.
So, mostly Coke products all throughout the region I was in. So I was in Nairobi and Kajiado County, which is south of Nairobi. And when you're out away from Nairobi, there's glass bottles of Coke products. Glass, Coke, Sprite, orange Fanta, sometimes pineapple Fanta or passion fruit Fanta, which is very good. Grape Fanta. That's what they have. And so they have this system of distribution with glass bottles. You fill them up, and then let's say you run a corner store, you get a crate or a couple crates of different sodas. You maybe stock your fridge, but a lot of people don't use fridges because electricity is expensive. And so you just serve it warm. People come up, you get a soda, you drink it, and then you drink it right there, and then give the glass bottle back. And that's how it works. And then it's kind of this like...
It's a neat system.
Yeah, it's kind of a neat system. And the bottles are different. Maybe you could put a link in the show notes, Adam, of the Kenyan Fanta bottle. It's just like a little bit like... got this round little thing up there.
Yeah, how did it taste? Did it taste like the Fanta here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really drink that much Fanta here, but
you only have Fanta in foreign lands.
I think it's similar.
I know in France the Fanta was like almost like orange juice colored.
Yeah, that's the same. I got you. I stopped a layover in Amsterdam, and I got you that one.
You did.
Yeah,
which I'm very thankful for. I just realized I'm like, I haven't seen those in a bit. I might have left them at Rachel's.
Oh no. Yes, but that's okay. So, yeah, there's different colors of Fanta all over the world, which is fascinating. And anyways, so it's Coca-Cola really has made a dent in Kenya, and I would imagine other places in Africa. Pepsi has not really even come close. So, I mean, there's buildings that are painted red with Coca-Cola logos and just big distributors everywhere, and everybody wants Coke. And nobody would even touch Pepsi. I was hearing some other things about just how dominant Coke is and has been in the past, like how Pepsi actually bought franchises. They bought Taco Bell, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and what's the other one? Pizza Hut. Created Yum Foods, and then they started saving money, putting them in the same building, and just to compete with Coca-Cola, so that those stores carry Pepsi products to this day.
Yes,
and it's because of the Pepsi company trying to compete with Coca-Cola. And apparently, I mean, I don't know how true this is. So, but the Pepsi company, of course, paid for people to lobby to keep the minimum wage low, because they had so many employees and they're trying to keep costs down to compete with Coca-Cola.
Yeah. I mean, they're not the only voice in that chorus.
No way, but I mean, it's one example of the kind of the lengths that capitalism goes to save money. And it is just interesting thinking, like, there was no Pepsi. I mean, there was like one Pepsi machine that I saw, but most of it was Coca-Cola. So I was fascinating to me, just like the soda grab,
Yeah, that is real neat. I'm happy our show inspired you to pay attention to that.
I was very keyed in. I'm like, okay, there's Fanta. There was orange soda everywhere.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Way more places. I mean, here, you go to a gas station and there's every drink you can imagine.
Yeah, but I'm sure that's different where we go elsewhere.
Yeah, it's very different. But there's always orange soda.
So let's go to the other fans zone, where we get some fan mail from our fans. So we have a letter here from Robert, whose message us before. He said, I thought you'd get a kick out of this. In 3rd grade, the 99 to 2000 year, we were asked for our yearbook which our favorite show was. 23 years later, it's still my favorite show, and now your podcast is my favorite podcast. Thanks, Robert.
Aw, thanks, Robert. I'm glad you're listening in.
Robert sent us a picture of him from his yearbook, his 3rd grade yearbook.
Oh, I need to see this. Spaghetti, baseball, Kenan and Kel. That's awesome.
That's pretty amazing.
That's amazing. That's an amazing picture. Can you tweet that, Adam?
I'll ask Robert's permission, but I'd love to share this.
That's amazing. Spaghetti, baseball, Kenan and Kel. Spaghetti is lowercase. Baseball is capital.
It's a little all over the place, isn't it?
Oh, that's fantastic.
It is. Thanks, Robert. We also got another letter from Steve R. Do you want to help read this one?
Sure. I hope this message finds you guys, and I hope in the future for a shout-out. I listen to this podcast almost every day at work. I've done a ton of show research as well.
So this is some of the research that he has. Apparently, back in season 2, we had a lot of questions and theories and what's going on here? And he's brought some answers to us.
Oh, what no way. That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so Kim Fields was the director in the months where she was on hiatus from Living Single, a.k.a. May and June and part of July. So she was on hiatus from Living Single and then directed with Kenan and Kel, and then when she was done.
That was her deal for why she did half the show.
Do we know which episodes that would be?
I think if you line up the production order, you'll see these ones that she did were first, and
so we know exactly where Kim Fields was
at this time and place in history. Yes,
that is awesome. So if I had a time machine and I I could actually see Kim Fields direct.
You could shake hands with her back then if we can't get an interview now.
Man, I would love a time machine just to do ridiculous things like that. Hi, I'm from the future. I do a podcast about you.
I want to do that when I first saw the Dark Knight. I was like, this movie's so good. I want to go back to 50 years ago when they didn't and blow people's minds showing this movie.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing. You go back to silent films and you're like, look at what happens. look at what this becomes.
Yeah, you'd melt people's brains with that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean that movie's so good. Okay, and then the 2 turkeys in Turkey Day were named after characters she played in Facts of Life and Living Single. LOL. Tootsie and Regine.
Yeah, those are
awesome.
Named after Kim Field characters.
Wow, that's some very intense detective work.
Yes, it requires a deep television knowledge to pull that stuff.
Oh, Steve R, you are the man. Thank you very much. This is exceptional detective work.
There's some more.
Oh,
I'll read the back half here. Season 2, they filmed from May to September '97 after Good Burger, which is March to April. They did a promotional tour for 2 weeks in July of '97 for Good Burger, and the exterior of Good Burger, and interior even, was a Mexican restaurant in West Covina, California. So it was a straight up Mexican place that you could visit, maybe even today.
I think it's worth a trip. Or at least a Google search.
He also said, I also can't get over how Kenan had such rosy cheeks, as Adam says, in the early seasons. They're incredibly rosy. I cannot stress that enough. He's got the full-on Santa face.
Definitely has rosy cheeks. Well, adorable little guy.
Yeah, hope you guys find this message and these interesting facts I found in the newspaper archives. I can even share some Kenan Kel articles. So he has, and I've already seen a couple of them. We'll talk about them later. Some newspaper archives of people from interviewing Kenan and Kel way back then.
Oh my God, yes, we need to get him on the show to break open those. That's awesome.
Yeah, Sure, for sure. And I love this archive dig, and I'm glad we got such dedicated fandoms out there.
I mean,
'Cause,
yeah,
you know,
what an amazing dedication to this great TV show. That's great.
Yeah. And I'm glad that we made new friends and fans.
Yes. Well, thank you, Steve R., and thank you, Robert, Spaghetti Baseball, and Kenan and Kel. I don't know how it could get any better than that, Adam.
Yeah, well, tune in next time to find out how much better Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron can be.
Do you think it was just spaghetti or spaghetti and meatballs, spaghetti and meat sauce?
We'll have to ask Robert.
I need to know. I'm in on need-to-know basis with Robert.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Check out the March Madness poll on Twitter. We'll let you know how it goes and what future episodes we do.
Until next time, everybody, keep eating your spaghetti, and baseball season's on the way, and we know that it will always be time for Kenan and Kel. Here it goes.
Thank you for listening. You can send us an email at KenanKelPodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at anchor.fm/KenanKelPodcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all at Kenan Kel Podcast.